Carl here from Warden's Farm. It's October 6th. We finally got above 65 degrees. It's 68 degrees, headed towards 75. And we're getting ready to check out hive number 7, see how it's doing, because they were packing away a lot of goldenrod. Then we're going to move up and maybe do another video of combining two of my weaker hives and get them where they're going to be beefed up into one hive for the winter. So some of the things you got to do, I know one of them's queenless right now, so by combining them we'll give a queen in another hive plenty more bees. That way they can actually make a bigger, stronger hive before winter sets in. So let's go get into hive number 7 and see how they're doing. Okay, coming and taking a closer look at hive 7. You can see the bees coming and going. The foragers are headed out. The guards are at the door. And some of the bees are bringing in white pollen, some are bringing in yellow pollen. So the goldenrod's still kicking off. They still haven't touched my pollen feeders. So let's open the hive and see what they're doing. Haven't been in the hive 7 for a little bit. And they still have a lot of bees in here. So that's good. That's what you want to see. We're still putting a lot of propolis on this top screen. But let's send them down because we want to check this top box. And we want to see what kind of, make sure there's no queen. I don't see one. So we'll put this at the front of the hive so they can crawl up and get back in. There's a lot of bees inside here, so we're going to start at the side closest to the camera, frame 1, and we're going to start taking a look and seeing what they've been doing. Okay, they got a little bit of nectar here, not much. I don't expect there to be too much on the outside frames, especially with the cooler weather coming and the cooler weather that has hit us. There's a bunch of nectar here, a lot of capped and a lot uncapped, and a lot of new beeswax made, so that's good. So now we should start getting into a little bit thicker production of their goldenrod honey. And there's a bunch capped there. You can see what it's starting to look like. The bees are all gorging right now from being smoked, where they think there's a fire, so they're filling their bellies in case they have to flee. Now this one is a lot heavier frame. As you can see, the goldenrod is just about filled up this frame. Ooh, does that smell good. Yeah, that's definitely goldenrod, because that's all I can smell. I want to see if the queen has moved up in any of these frames. Again, you can see the goldenrod. I usually do not harvest goldenrod because I leave it for the bees for food. That way they got something to eat over the winter. But I also go ahead and usually put candy boards on. So this might be the first year that I harvest some of the frames. And again, this is all nectar and goldenrod. I don't see any eggs or larvae in this box. It is just getting to be capped goldenrod. So let's move down into the bottom box and see what's going on there. Now we're going to take this, oh yeah, let's get some weight. Medium off, where we can take a look at the main brood. I'm gonna get the camera a little closer. So we'll smoke these girls down. Give them a light smoking. I still have the feeder in here, but haven't fed them. Depending upon what I see in here, I may start. So if everything looks good, that'll tell me to or not to feed them. Quite a few bees. There's nectar. I don't see any. Gotta move you back a little. Sorry about that. We're still looking for the queen brood, just to see what kind of a pattern she's got going on. There are a lot of bees here. I love seeing that. That means there's a lot of mouths to feed. And there's some brood. There's actually a queen cup down here. Let's see. It's not charged. There's brood. A little bit of cap brood here. Got to blow on them so I can see down in there. Yeah. Cap brood one side. Don't see a lot of bee bread yet. That might be on the other side of the hive. Whew. Now that's a frame of brood. I can see it underneath all the bees. I'll try to blow on it, that way you can see it. Yeah, there's capped larvae, there's uncapped larvae, there's eggs, there's more. So I'm not even going to go any farther because I saw eggs, I saw capped larvae, so that means we got a good queen. I don't see much in bee bread, so I'm going to take out the one frame right next to the feeder and see if maybe that's where they're storing their pollen. No, nectar, not much bee bread. So I wonder why they're not packing that away. I may add a pollen patty then and some sugar water, just so that they can start putting some stores in some of the other frames. Or I'll wait a week before I put sugar water in here, because I want to see how this goldenrod honey flow goes in case I decide to harvest anything. Okay, these are the pollen patties that I made, and basically it's all the stuff that the bees will like. It's made out of the pollen that the bees like, the powdered pollen. You buy it, and then it's mixed with basically sugar and a little bit of molasses, and that's what it comes out to. So hive number 7 right there is got a lot of brood, it's got a lot of eggs, it's got a laying queen, and it's got a ton of bees. So I went ahead and added a pollen patty to it, and we'll see how the bees consume it. I only gave it a half a patty that I normally do, just because I don't want a lot of bugs to get into it, mainly your hive beetles, and start laying eggs. So we'll check it again in a week, and hopefully we'll be able to harvest some of that goldenrod honey, or I'll make the decision then. We'll just leave it for the winter and let the bees have it for overwintering. Let's go check out a couple other hives. All right, this hive, which has got a 1 box, is actually a swarm that was caught late in the year, and we're going to check how it's doing, making sure it's queen right. And this one here did not have a laying queen, so What we may end up doing, we may end up combining this one or this one up with number 3. We'll see how it goes from there. This top box is a feeder, and they got it almost dry, but I think I want to definitely change it out. We'll take a look. Well, the syrup still looks okay. But I want to make sure it doesn't have any funk growing in it, and it doesn't. We'll see if they've done anything with this shallow that I gave them. They got a little bit, well, actually they got a little bit more than I expected of the sugar water put away, so that's good. That means they're building up their stores for the winter. That's good to see. And it's like that on quite a bit of the frames, especially on the side that's not facing the sun. So they're definitely putting away the sugar water. Let's take a look at what she's doing. The outside frame, probably not much. Didn't expect to see it. Ooh, goldenrod. Wow. Not much bee bread. There's some though, but not a lot. Now we're getting into the frames that got a lot of bees on them. There's larvae. Sporadic. Oh, there's eggs over here. Okay. So the queen probably needs some more workers. Yeah, there's a lot of eggs and larvae on this side. Some really young bees that have just hatched out. They're a lot smaller though. I don't see no foul brood or anything like that, so that's good. Alright, there's nectar amongst the brood. There's eggs and larvae. There's a little more cap brood and more eggs and larvae. Oh, bee bread, good. Okay, is we're going to put this back together, put a pollen patty on it, with a little bit of a spacer, and let's add this pollen patty on here. Get a couple of small sticks. And I always like raising it up a little so that way the bees can get underneath it. The little tiny sticks. Maybe one more. Just enough for them to get underneath it. Yeah, that one will do right there. Then we'll lay this on top, and the bees can get in there and consume it. There. Put that back on top, the feeder, and then we'll top the feeder off. So now we'll top it off with some good food, which is right over here. This is a half-gallon holder, so, and we topped or cleaned up the feeder Now we're adding the sugar water into the top feeder. And then we'll add our cup so the bees don't fly into it. There's a ½ gallon. There's the cup so that the bees don't get into it. And there's that. Now to check this one. This is the one that I believe is going to be combined with another hive. Now it's got a lot of activity. You can see a lot of bees out there. But I don't think it's queen right. This is a small nuke that I captured. I've been feeding it, but they don't touch the feed. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going on inside here. Nothing. There's a moth. Damn things. Yeah, it looks like the moths have got into this hive because I can see them crawling. That's a shame too, because there's capped brood. But there's also wax moths amongst them. So what do? You don't want to introduce it to another hive because of the wax moths. So I'm going to just try to shake the bees into another box, I think. Yeah, there's the wax moth damage right there. Yep. So we got a queen, yellow queen, and wax moths. She's got larvae, but unfortunately we got a queen on one side right there, but we got this on the other. The wax moths have moved in, so we got to get rid of that, save our queen and as many bees as we can, and we're gonna get rid of this. Yeah, because the wax moths are all over this, so we'll let that go. I'm gonna try to save as many bees out of this as I can, and our queen, I'm gonna cage her, and then hopefully the bees will follow her. Well, the queen out of the nuke here, I went ahead and I caged her, and I stuck her up in the other nuke up next to hive number 1 that had no queen, and I put as many bees in there as I could. I just combined them. We'll see if they get along. It's kind of like an experiment when there's not many bees. Not even probably 2 cups of bees out of this hive, so we'll see if they accept the queen, and being the other nuke was queenless, they should. But I guess we're gonna find out.